Welcome everybody to the Keys to Wisdom channel. So as you see here, I'm going to be going through some pictures of the three crosses that are going to be made on April 8th, 2024 from the 2024 solar eclipse and the one prior to it. So the first one that I'm showing you is the Isla Maria Magdalena. I made some progress on it, and it's actually part of the municipality or city called St Blaise, which is for St Blaise. And as you see in some of the pictures here, the big feature about St Blaise is holding the two crossed candles, right? That's exactly what occurs there, right? The actual municipality, the city of Blaise, doesn't have the cross over it. The only part of that city, San Blas, that has the cross is Isla Maria Magdalena, Isla Maria Madre, and Isla San Juanito. And also, you're going to see some pictures in there showing St. John, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene at the foot of the cross, right? One of the big things to see is that which side of the cross Magdalene is on compared to John the Baptist and Mother Mary, right? It's exactly the same way as the islands, right? And that's a very significant thing because that's the foot of the cross. That's the first one that starts, right? There's three crosses that day, just like the crucifixion of Jesus, right? And the one that ends, that's last, is up in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. So now that we're going off of this St. Blaise angle, we're also going to be looking at a couple saints up there. I've got it narrowed down to two different saints. It's going to be St. Albans, spelled S-T, Albans, or it's going to be St. Brendan's, spelled S-A-I-N-T, Brendan's, for St. Alban and St. Brendan. Now, the big thing that we need to consider when we're looking at this stuff is St. Blaise is a big time martyr. Another big thing is they say that he was killed in 316 AD, which again is like a John 316 type link deal, right? St. Blaise, Sans Blaise, St. Blaise is the city, right? And it's representing those three at the foot of the cross: Isla Maria Magdalena, Isla Maria Madre, and Isla San Juanito, Saint John. So when we're looking at it, right, St. Alban is in more ties to England, more ties to being a martyr. So what happened on the day of Jesus, right? The the two thieves and the entire story of one getting let go, one not, and of course Jesus not, right? So perhaps the St. Albans is throwing us off because the center cross in Marion, Illinois is the one that represents Jesus. That's why these three are down at the foot of the cross, because that's where it gets made that day. It's one big giant cross from the 2017 and 2024 total solar eclipses, and then the two other crosses were started in 1970 and 1991, right? The one that finishes up in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada, is the one that began it. The series is 1970, 1979, 1991, 2017, 2024. All the total solar eclipses over the United States of America, but it has a big North American component to it, as we see, right? And there's a couple other crosses that were already made. Two crosses were made in 2017. That's over Avondale, South Carolina, from the 1970 and 2017 Total Solar Eclipse, and it's Salem, Oregon. Avondale's right outside of Charleston, South Carolina, and it's Salem, Oregon, made from the 1991 and 2017. So there's already 2 crosses completed. There was another cross off to the side completed between the 1970 and 1991. That's also got some relations into the saints, especially to a city that's named after Peter and Paul, Pedro and Pablo, San Pablo, San Pedro. We'll look at those in all of the crosses more in some other videos, but first here I want to talk about these 3 crosses that are happening that day. It's very, very significant. Everything about it ties back to the crucifixion of Jesus. And those 3 crosses, and the thief left, and the thief right, and a couple martyrs, and one getting let go, right? All of the different things that are going on with it. And there's also the relation because that center cross, Marion, was started in 2017. So when it gets completed, there'll also be a thief left and a thief right in terms of Avondale or Charleston, South Carolina, and Salem, Oregon that way. So it's the center cross. There's really the formation along that one big cross made from 2017 and 2024 actually has 5 different crosses in it. 2 of them made in 2017 already, and 3 being made in 2024. Right, the one that's totally outside of the formation is the one made down in Mexico, San Pablo, San Pedro, right, as a 6th cross in the event between 1970 and 1991. So I put these videos up, and I'm just going to play them in a series, 7 seconds each. I'm not going to take all the time to edit everything, so you're seeing exactly what I'm talking about. This is the same series of videos or pictures. We'll go through there, right? But these are very big to understand. Also, the 2 candles that St. Blaise is holding, right? It's the 2 candles in our sky. One is the sun, one is the moon. Right, so both of those candles being lit and showing that cross there at St Blaise, which is for the 3 islands offshore that are part of that municipality, right? Everything to do with St. Blaise and St Blaise, and those crossed candles is to do with the sun and the moon, and that's why these islands are part of that city, why that city is there and named that. Right, all the different depictions out there with St. Blaise and those crossed candles. Well, that's what it's there marking, right? And that's what it's marking. Every image you see is showing the April 8th, 2024, also from the July 11th, 1991. That's the one within the words, right? When I build those 1979 phrases, as above, so below, and I add that A, that's the 2 dates it shows. July 11th, 1991, April 8th, 2024, and that is the X marks the spot of the 2 candles that St. Blaise is holding, right? And that is also the representation there of the Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and St. John at the foot of the cross, exactly as you see it all over the place. So the depictions of those 3 at the foot of Jesus' cross and all those depictions of St. Blaise with those cross candles, that's all 4/8/2024, along with its first portion, July 11, 1991. So I show the passes of the solar eclipses over those areas. But we need to do some work to figure out about whether we're dealing with St. Alban, another martyr, or if we're dealing with St. Bernard, or not St. Bernard, St. Brendan. And also there's a big deal, there's in some of the symbology of St. Brendan, they're showing him as the navigator. So they'll actually show one cross, and then they'll show like a compass along with him. Well, that compass is two crosses. It's the plus and the X. So when they're showing uh, St. Brendan, and maybe I'll go and add some of those pictures in because I don't have them right now. I'll throw some St. Brendan pictures in there. That's showing three crosses. So St. Brendan's got some really strong stuff. When we look at the story of Jesus and what happened to the thief left and the thief right on that day, right? They're not both martyrs. They won't both go down, right? Jesus is the other martyr, and one of the thieves is a martyr, right? So that's playing big into the difference between St. Alban and St. Brendan, but also that depiction, that's triple crosses. The compass is the plus and the X, and the cross is the other plus, right? And that's exactly what's shown on your two square flags in this world. The Swiss is the plus, and then the Vatican is the big X, cross keys, with the little plus in the middle. Same exact thing is being shown. Double plus with the big X in all the images of St. Brendan, the navigator, when they're showing the cross along with the compass, because the compass is the double cross, right? And of course, the two square flags in this world, Swiss, Holy See, equals exactly triple crosses, right? And I'll get into some other stuff, I think, in behind this with some clues app, just some word stuff to strengthen it up. But this is the first part of the video here, just showing you these images, what we're zeroing in on, and why. St. Blaise is super, super significant to this, as is all of the artwork of those three at the foot of Jesus' cross, because it's all playing on this very day. Everything to do with Jesus' crucifixion and 4/8/2024, all of it is playing on this day. Symbolism, words, numbers, everything, the calendars, the word, right? And of course, the word is going to cover it all because that's all about the word, right? The living word. So we're going to show it. I'm showing it here in the symbols and the events, everything that's happened, all the images and symbols here. And I'm going to back it up with some numbers and words here at the end of the video, even though it's not going to be extensively finished product, right? I'm sharing the work as I go and encouraging others to help and pitch in, pick up on the keys that I'm showing and things that I'm working on, and perhaps your different perspective than mine will be able to solve some of this stuff. So anybody that wants to get involved can go ahead and get involved. I encourage you, right? Ask questions, participate along, all of that. So with that, I'm going to end this first part of the video and pick up doing some numbers work next. All right, everybody, welcome to the rest of the video. And I just want to say that I was misspeaking in terms of the thieves and the martyrdom, in terms of them getting let down, even though when I was speaking about it in terms of man-wise, that it's still at play in factor in terms of how it's portrayed in terms of Jesus telling the one you'll be in paradise or heaven with me later, the repentant versus unrepentant thief, right? So that's still at play between the two martyrs, but I was misspeaking earlier in the video about it. So we should continue to consider St. Alban, and I didn't throw up any images of St. Alban in this video, along with St. Brendan. So here, though, what I got out here is these are the years that these solar eclipse triple cross were made, right? It says three crosses at the bottom, 1991 and 2024. That's Isla Maria Magdalena, Maria Madre, San Juanito. 1970 and 2024. This is either St. Alban or St. Brendan in Canada, Newfoundland, and Labrador. which really is Newfoundland, right? It's tricky part about those two, right, is the naming, right? The naming of the island is, but it's a part of the municipality of St Blaise, right? And then Labrador or Newfoundland and Labrador up there, but it's actually really in the Newfoundland part, right? But it's called Newfoundland and Labrador, right? So the getting down the exact names is going to take a lot of different variations. But these are the years, and it's pretty straight up. And then Marion, Illinois, this big central cross that contains all 5 of the crosses made in this series between the 5 total solar eclipse, the 6 being outside of it, right? Is 2017 and 2024, Marion, Illinois, or anywhere in that crosshairs, right? The big giant one across the USA, and the 3 crosses, right? What does it produce here? The Hebrew year that it happens is 5784, right? It's the 2 from 5784, using those years of where those 3 crosses were made. As I was saying in the video, the 2 square flags of the world are the Swiss and the Holy See. Right, I showed their images, plus X plus triple crosses, right? Triple crosses, they're there. I actually noticed something on multiplying this out, right? Triple crosses, I will testify, that's the mirror, right? Because I started seeing this in here, and I said, oh man, I know what that's doing. So I wanted to multiply it out, so I put it out there twice. Well, that's what I was seeing already, right? 3 times 5739. That's what I was seeing. Right, all of that, and that's the same thing as saying triple crosses as well, right? So those triple crosses, that mirror, 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time through, right? What was that? One other thing that I show all the time, bear sheep, the bill, the day of the Lord has come. Beginning those mirrors right here, 7-11 left, 4-8 right, 7-11 1991, 4-8 2024, in the Hebrew year 5784, right, 1991, right, same deal, right? That's how I seen all of I knew what I was seeing as soon as I put together triple crosses, and I will testify, right? All of that stuff in there. I actually don't have a ton of stuff prepared to do all the number stuff, and I'm working on getting down the exact location and how to input the exact location, so because all of this stuff's going to work with the exact times, everything, and I want to get it all put together correctly. But first I got to identify which one of those saints that we're working with up there. So if you get the gist of what I'm saying here, and understand in maybe even different ways than me that about, right, having the 2 martyrs on both sides, right? Jesus is centered in terms of that center cross, right? St Alban's is another martyr, along with St Blaise, or then the St Brendan, the navigator angle on that, right? There's different ways to look at it. And also I kind of started writing St. Alban off pretty fast. I gotta go and look at some more of the symbolism with that, but I can see very clearly all the St. Blaise symbolism is marking what's going on exactly there in that city, St Blaise, offshore. That's the only part of the municipality it's happening in, right? Those three islands, right? And I can see the big time symbolism in St. Brendan. Tons of uses of the triple cross and the quadruple cross. It's big time symbolism in terms of that, right? And that's going to be the key there to figuring out exactly which location is the actual location. Right, Marion, Illinois is the actual location. Isla Maria Magdalena, Madre, and San Juanito is the exact location. With Newfoundland, there's still a little bit of debate to be had between St. Alban and St. Brendan on which one is the location. So if you have any thoughts or opinions on that, please go ahead and put it in. Maybe we'll do just one more little thing. Like I said, I was working on some of this stuff. St. Blaise, Irit, Mexico, right? What do you call this, right? It's all part, they're all part of that city, that municipality, St. Blaise for St. Blaise, right? But that specifies the island, which island, right? Picking up what could be chosen to see at 2024. April 8, 2024. Maybe. Alright. Start out right from the get with it wrong. Here, when I put in the date to that location, again, it gives another option of 2024. And then this is the 31st and the final tree of the 5 trees of paradise. It's a completion code, right? Same part of the Israel independence, Israel being reborn, 1948. Another part, completion code. That is the 31st character, the 5th and final tree of the 5 trees of paradise, 9779, right? And when I put in Isla, that combination, this is something that could again be chose to see a year later, 4/8/25. I was talking about this in terms of a year later after 4/8/2024, in terms of feeding all the people, multiplying the fish and the bread again, right, in Marion, Illinois. So I put Isla Maria Magdalena in there. 1 year later, these are some things for me to consider, right? Seeing in here how it produces the 2024. Again, I put the exact date in, produces again the 2024, produces a completion code. That's what that 9779 is. And then that's like a possible future code, right? Because this is stuff that I have been working on and recently and talking about. When I see it, I notice it. So that's the series that I noticed in here, right? 2024, completion, 1 year into the future. Working off of that location, but I've got a lot of work to do still on how to exactly, right? When I say Maria Magdalena, San Blas, Nayarit, Mexico, yes, all the information is there. That's, you know what I'm talking about. Anybody there would know what I'm talking about. You're talking about the island, right? So I'm going to have to try lots of different variations of whether I use that isla or not, right? Some of that, this was like self-evident here, but it had an application on the end. Oops. There has to be a reason why I didn't continue using it there. Must probably the 2024. Right, so because when I'm using it here, I don't see anything real significant. Right. So now I got something messed up. So that wasn't even what we're using. We gotta look at it again. See, this would be like 10 years earlier, one from 10 years earlier. 2014. But when I'm looking at this here, I don't see anything real significant to anything. So that's why I started from here with the 2024 and just started seeing what else could I do. If this is how to properly describe the location and giving me a time clue, then let me put in the time. Then everything is going to be happening. Next, it's 4/8. It's April. 4/8 is another choice to try to use. Right. So after that, description of the location gave me a possible time clue, and then I put in day, month, year, the time it's going to be happening, another possible time clue, completion clue, right? And then just when I'm here again, start to look at that from there, right? If that number I hadn't just been talking about on there, I never even would notice anything to do with it. But I was telling a story about this number, and a year later, not long ago. But I've got a lot of different things to work out, really try to feel out. When I feel it, I can go and get it usually pretty fast. Let's see here. I added something else again, right? I see 31. Right, and that was the completion code, the 9779. I see 31. Yeah, that's a 5739 left, 5739 right, coming out of it. But there's a bunch of different things that I do, different techniques that I use, and when it all gets down right, it's going to have a nice little story of from what the location says, the exact time of the location, and right. This is only part of it too. It's not the other. I don't even think I looked. Here, we'll just look at this. Something I haven't even looked at. It was 1991. That was the first total solar eclipse. No, there's the right in the middle, 1982 too. Right, that's the same info where I was started moving around on the triple crosses. I will testify. Right, well, I see what's in there. Not real clear. Let's put Isla back on. Maybe a little 5784. Not real strong. Gotta have the eye to see some of it. Not gonna be crystal clear, especially to people who don't look at things all that much. All right, but I gotta work on all locations and then all the locations together. And it's gotta all work in significant ways. All the words, the numbers, the times, what's happening. It's all got to flow together, right? This is a big, super coordinated and very controlled event, right? Things are specifically in specific spots and named for name specific things, all for this, right? And not just these ones. Salem, Oregon, big. It's exactly right there because of what happened in 1979 and 2017 over that area, right? So there's a lot of stuff that's been organized with prior knowledge, right, of this, right? This is something that people who've wielded a lot of power, right, have been aware of for a very long time, and we're going to be able to see all their fingerprints on everything that they did all throughout this as we decode it between now and April 8th of 2024. But I'm going to end it here. I already probably went too long, but anyways, with that, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you think that's something you should do, and have a nice day.